partner. Going once, going twice. All right, you just get a bye. So you just get to wait. Okay, here we go. Makara, call this round 3.
All right. Can we get a... Do you need a partner?
Oh, are you good? Is your hand okay? Okay.
You sure?
All right, so now you have a partner. Sorry.
Oh, no, I think...
Come on over here. This might be the first guy versus girl match of the day.
I think it might be. Hey, do you guys want to come up here?
Yeah, come on up into this empty space right here.
All right. Hands apart, hands apart. All right, ready. Knees, shoulders, knees, shoulders, heads, toes. That's not a thing. Heads.
No, toes
shoulders,
are real.
Knees,
Toes
shoulders,
are a thing.
knees, shoulders, cup.
Wow. All right, if you're moving on, find somebody with a cup. If you got knocked out, take a seat.
All right, find a partner, find a partner.
Okay, hey, there's few enough. If you are still in the game, listen.
If you're still in the game, come to the front.
If you're still in the game, come to the front. Come to the front. Luke and Isaac, come to the front. Boys in the back, come to the front. Annie going against Mac. All right, here we go.
Hands apart.
Everybody has a partner that's still in. Caleb, you're out, right? Okay, just cheering them on. Okay, hey, no turtling, by the way. Okay, can't turtle. You gotta stay up.
Turtling.
Gotta stay upright. Okay, here we go. Head, shoulders, knees, cup.
Oh, that was a tricky one.
You like that?
That was a tricky one.
All right, again, if you are still in, stay right up front here. We got 2 more girls left. How many guys? 3?
4? Are you guys still in? Oh, okay. Just
Okay.
making sure.
Are you 3 still in right now? Okay.
A bye?
Huh?
Maybe you should play him. Dallas, I think
A
you should
bye
play him.
round? Who gets a bye? Okay, Isaac gets a bye. Okay, play rock, paper, scissors. Okay, so Mac, you got the bye. All right, Isaac, you got to go in. That's fine. Or wait, should you play against him? Or should you? I don't know how this works. Just go. You guys are grabbing a cup. It's just a candy or soda. Okay, here we go. Makara, call this one.
All right. Shoulders, knees, head, knees, shoulders, head, shoulders, knees, cup.
Wow. Isaac takes it anyway. All right, so for the girls, you're going to get a bye this time, okay? Guys, final guys round here, and then we'll have the match between
my gosh.
top guy, top girl. Here we go. Isaac, put your hands out. Okay, there we go. That seems fair. Here we go. Head, shoulders, 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 head, cup.
Oh! I don't know what that means. We have to redo it.
Let's redo it with like a full cup, okay? Get a new cup.
Really, really good cup. All right.
Because
that's really fun.
Matt got the most, but I think Isaac grabbed it first, and he did get some of the cup. Here we go. Head, shoulders, knees, head, shoulders, knees, 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 shoulder, head, 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 cup. Wow! Isaac ends up with it.
Good job.
Hey, good sportsmanship there.
Hey, that was a good sportsmanship handshake
We've
right
got
there.
one lady, one girl. Guys, come on up to the stage. We will get this out of the way.
All right.
Here, put it where Nathan's going to be standing.
Can you say your name nice and loud for the audience?
Isaac.
Isaac. And we have Isaac playing against?
Regan.
Regan. All right, Isaac and Regan are going to play together.
Yep, so this is
the
a
final
best
round.
of 3. Guys, step up onto the stage so we can get a little bit
Nice
better
enough
view.
here.
Yeah, get a new clean cup, okay?
There you go, there you go.
Makara, you're going to call this best of 3, okay?
Best of 3. The
Yep.
whole thing?
So, yeah, the first person to 2, Makara, you're calling
All
the whole
right.
thing, okay?
Ready. Hands apart. Okay, just making sure. All right. Heads, shoulders, knees, shoulders, heads, knees, shoulders, knees, knees, head, head, shoulders, knees, cup. All right, we got 1. We got 1 point on the scoreboard for Isaac. Oh, Regan, it's 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. That's okay, you still have a chance. You guys can use that one again. All right. Let's see. Head, cup. Oh!
Wow.
The
Isaac with an
reflexes
injury there.
We're so quick.
Hey guys, give it up for Regan. She
job,
made it
Regan.
so far. And give it up for Isaac, our champion
Isaac, woo!
this morning. The first game of the school year. Isaac, you get your choice of candy or soda after service.
Nice. That is a good prize.
Let me, here's the question of the day. This is the best question you've ever heard. When you're going to get a cup from your cabinet, would you rather a plastic cup or a glass?
A glass?
A glass or a plastic cup. On your mark,
I
you
use
say go.
vases.
Ask your neighbor
Turn
which
your neighbor
one
and
they would
ask your
want.
question. Glass cup or plastic cup?
Well, good morning, guys. Good morning. So the question after the game, that happens every week. And I just want you to know it's usually a little higher in quality than whatever Dallas just asked. Like that was bad, man.
What kind of cups do you
I don't even
prefer?
feel like I should ask the room again what their preference is. We're just going to move beyond it. Thank you for that. All right. Why don't we stand together as we get ready to sing? And guys, if you haven't caught on, there's a lot of new sixth graders in here, and we're really happy to have them with us. And we just want to take a second to say, part of what we do on Sunday mornings is we also sing in worship. So if you haven't heard this before, the way that we think about worship is just a simple one word, response. So a lot of the way that's going to look is we're reminded of who God is, maybe something in his character, something he's done for us, or we hear from his word together. So we're reminded of truth, and we respond to that by doing something, and that response is worship. So this morning we're going to respond in worship by singing. We're going to hear from the scriptures and be reminded of who God is. We're going to respond in singing. So we're going to hear this morning from the book of Colossians in chapter 1. This is where Paul is writing about the majesty of Christ. This is what he says. He, Jesus, is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. For by him, so by Jesus, all things were created in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. All things were created through Jesus and for him. And he is before all things, and in him all things hold together. He is the head of the body, the church. He is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in everything he might be preeminent or superior, greater than. For in him, so in him, all the fullness of God was pleased to dwell, and through Jesus to reconcile to himself all things, or to make right, whether on earth or in heaven, making peace through his cross. Paul goes on to write in chapter 2, therefore, as you received Christ, walk in him. So not only is Christ greater than all things, we're also called to walk with him. I want to teach you guys a new song this morning that declares two simple truths kind of built around that. The song declares that Christ would be magnified, and then the second part, that he would be magnified by what we say and do. So I want to teach you guys this chorus. We're going to sing it together really fast, and we'll learn the song together. Chorus goes like this. Oh, Christ be magnified, let his praise arise. Christ be magnified in me. Oh, Christ be magnified from the altar of my life. Would Christ be magnified in me? Sing it again. Oh, articulate with 1,000 tongues to lift one cry. Then from north to south and east to west, we'd hear Christ be magnified. Were the whole earth echoing his imminent
Just as I am, you welcome me. With open arms, how can this be? My guilt is undone, my past is untethered. I leave it behind and run to my Father. There is no disappointment in your eyes. There is no shame, there is only pride. I am loved, Father, I'm loved by you. So unreserved, your heart for me. My fear is gone, I am set free. There's nothing to hide, there's nothing to measure. 'Cause I am your child, and that's all that matters. There is no disappointment in your eyes. There is no shame, there is only pride. I am loved, Father, I'm loved by you. There is no distance in your embrace. Over and over again you say, I am loved, Father, I'm loved by you. I am loved, Father, I'm loved by you. You are changing everything. You are changing everything. I believe it. I receive it. You are changing everything. You are changing everything. You are changing everything. I believe it. I receive it. You are changing
Would you guys pray with me? Dear God, I pray over this room of students, whether they're returning to this room or whether this is their first time. God, I just pray that you really help them feel comfortable, make sure that they feel like they belong. That's our whole philosophy: belong, believe, and become. Help them learn more about you in this room, and help them just learn how to follow you and use this community to help build them up. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. You guys can have a seat. So, just like I told you, thank you, JP. A little shout out. You guys will see me teaching most weeks up here, but we've also got a guy named JJ Bunny, who we love, who normally he's in here about once a month, and you'll see probably Tyler at some point in here, maybe a Matt Dinsky, our next gen pastor. But this morning you get me. So how many of you guys, incoming sixth graders, were you there in preteen when I came to teach a couple weeks ago? Anybody remember that? Okay, sweet. So we got to know each other a little bit, some of the boys in the room as well. This morning we'll probably do a little bit more of that, but first I want to ask you to think about this this upcoming year, this next year of middle school. Like for some of you, it's your first year you're stepping in, which, how many of you guys are public schooled? Any public schoolers in the house? You go to a public middle school? Okay, wow, not as many as I would have thought. So I was a public schooler. Did anybody go to, or is anybody going to Hillcrest Middle? Any Hillcrest Middlers in the house? Don't point at her. She raised her own hand. Nice. Hillcrest Middle School. Again, raise your hand. Any boys? No boy. Okay, one Hillcrest Middle School boy. Okay, sweet. What about, how many of you are you go to a private school? Like you go to Southside, or you go to one of the other private schools in the area? A few of you, some Hampton Park. A few. Go Sabres. They do the Catholic thing. How many of you are homeschooled? Is that like the rest of you? Special shout out to the homeschoolers in the room. Okay. Some of you were like, oh no, I thought I was alone. I thought I was the only homeschooler. Does anybody go to UHC? That's your co-op, Upstate Homeschool Co-op? Some of you are like, one of your friends goes? We just got our son in. We're excited about it. So right now we're doing the homeschool thing. How many of you just don't go to school? Anybody don't go to school? You just dropped out already? Guys, I would recommend getting back in, okay? You need some schooling. Some of you more than others. Looking at you, JB, and Isaac. Isaac, yes. You do need the school, okay? I love it. So, yes, I was public schooled when I was really young, like when I was in kindergarten, pre-K, and first grade. I went to a Catholic school, okay? So there were very specific things that we had to wear, like a very strict dress code and all that kind of stuff. But I genuinely enjoyed, and again, some of you are just now stepping into middle school. Some of you, it's your third year, and you're like already feeling, I'm ready to go to high school. Maybe that's how you're feeling a little. Even though you're not seniors in middle school, you're experiencing this thing called senioritis, where you're just ready to be done, okay? But you got 1 year. You're in the home stretch of middle school, okay? Now, maybe if you're an eighth grader, you don't agree with this already, but I actually enjoyed, some people can't believe I say things like this, but I actually enjoyed my middle school years a lot, okay? They were some of the years where I met some of my best friends. They were some of the years where I kind of got to discover some of the things that I was good at, and on the flip side of that, figure out that I was not so good at some things, namely basketball. Okay, I did try out as a 7th grader to make our basketball team, and I didn't even make the first cut. And then I realized really early on, okay, that's probably ending my career. And some of you are like, yeah, you should have known. If your dad's 5'1", you're not going to be playing in the NBA, okay? Which my dad is 5'1", which means he's shorter than me, okay? So get that. I beat my own father in the game of height. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate that. Ladies, you don't have to clap for this. So big accomplishments already going in. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to, as you think about this next year, okay, I want you to think about some things that you are excited about when it comes to this next year of life. And it doesn't have to be specific to school. Maybe it's something that you are, like a trip that your family is going on. I think that Makara knew this, but my family is actually going to Disney World in September. We're really excited about that. That's like our big family trip for the year. And my parents are coming and my sister. It's going to be fun. But how many of you guys, well, actually do this first. Turn to your neighbor and tell them 2 things that you're excited about for this upcoming year, okay? Do that. 2 things. Could be anything that's gonna happen. Make sure you give the other person time to speak, okay? All right. Who would like to share with the larger room, maybe just a handful of folks, something you're excited about? Aria? Ari, sorry. You are excited about 7th and 8th grade chorus. I love it. You love to sing, I'm guessing. Okay, JB, something you're excited about?
I'm excited to hopefully get high school credits.
Hopefully get high school credits as an 8th grader. That's incredible. Wow, yeah. Mercy? You just need help? Oh, swim. Wait, and you're excited about this? Or is this just a plea for help with your work? Plea for help with your schoolwork. Okay, so pray for her as she's swamped with some schoolwork, but maybe some excitement to learn new things. Yep. Band? Nice. What instrument do you play? The flute? Whoa, that's cool. I like it. Also, band, what instrument do you play? The clarinet. Guys, I wish that I could play an instrument as well as some of you do. You play, there's a band guy back there, high school band. How about some boys? Benjamin? Oh, high school credit in 6th grade. Was it for PE? Oh, for Spanish. Okay, well, hola to you, sir. Isaac, something that you're excited about? Nice. Guys, just some geniuses, some musicians out here. What are you excited for? Playing your first year of football. For who? For St. Joe's. Nice, man. This is like real tackle football too, right? We're not talking about flag football. I love it. Deer season. Dude, I would take some deer meat. Okay, last two right here, two boys. Caleb, you want to go first? Sleep. Okay. Yeah, shout out to Sleep. You should be getting that regularly, okay? Can we just say that? Baseball and something that will not be named, that will not come from my lips, but a certain team that wears orange, and they play football. Okay. Dude, Michael is so disgusted right now, and it is appropriate. Okay. Just so you guys know, okay, if you were with us. If you were with me when we did preteen, I told you I am a Gamecock through and through. My parents were born, I was born into it. My parents went to USC, okay? It's my birthright. But let me remind you, we won't do this. Okay, so here's the next question for you to discuss, okay? Maybe a little more like prying, maybe a little more poking into what's going on in your mind and heart. But what's one thing, maybe give a second to think about this, what's one thing that you're a little nervous about, if you're being honest, when it comes to this next school year? Would you be willing to share it with your friend? And then I'll popcorn a couple answers from the room again. On your mark, get set, go. Share something you're nervous about for this next year. You got it, girls? Did you shared something? Nice. All right, like 10 more seconds. Make sure the other person gets a chance to speak. Yeah, it's okay if you're not nervous about anything. Coffee? Just black coffee. No cream, no sugar. Cutting out the unnecessaries. All right, bring it in. Something that you are nervous about this year. Samuel, I saw your hand go up first. Playing soccer? Yeah, just some natural nerves about playing soccer. Am I gonna do well? How's our team gonna do? Yeah. Latin? It's a dead language. Why do you need it anyway? What are we doing? I'm just kidding. There's importance in learning Latin. It's has a lot of effect on what we're doing. Yep. First year at St. Joe's, so first year at a new school. Hey, how many of you guys are going to a new school or new co-op for the first year? Anybody? Handful of you? Yeah, so you're not alone. Some new school stepping into. Isaac, you had one you're nervous about? Yes. So you're working with chemicals and science. You're nervous. I think we should be nervous. Yes, Tara? Something you're nervous about? What is it? Oh, mock trials. Yeah. You want to talk about get your heart thumping a little bit? You got to do these mock trials. Ari? People. Just nervous about people. Is that a hand raised of agreement to be nervous about people? Okay, Selah. Hey guys, bring it in. Let's try to listen. School in general. Yeah, guys, these are totally fair to share. When the only girls in your class and agreeing with Ari about people in general. Mac, what you got? Algebra. Yeah, just like a specific subject that you're not so much looking forward to. What is it? Just doing work. I've been laying around all summer. I wasn't real nervous about that, but now that whole work thing, like kind of nervous about it, Eloise. Your teachers, yeah, new teachers. Learning to play the violin. Ooh, that's kind of exciting, but kind of nervous too. A lot of investment, yep. No, you don't. You say, I'm not touching that frog. So you have to dissect a frog in 6th grade science? She does. She's got to. Okay, last one. Latin? Nervous about Latin too? All right, bring it in, guys. Bring it in. You guys can share with me afterwards things that you're nervous about. Hey, so here's part of the reason we do this, especially this nervous side, okay? Boys, bring it in. Here's part of the reason we do this is I want you guys to know you are not alone. And this isn't really the point of the message, but one of like the enemy's biggest tactics when it comes to attacking Christians and just attacking people in general is making you feel like whatever you're going through, you are alone in it. And so maybe there's some really serious things that some of you are not, you don't feel good even sharing just to the person next to you, let alone to the entire group, and you're really nervous about it, you're anxious about it. Man, I just want you to know that there are other people in this room who are probably feeling some of that anxiety as well. And maybe it's not like yours is so specific. Maybe it's not like about that specific person that you're nervous about, but they have another person that they're specifically nervous about as well. And so one of the things that we do want you guys to realize as you come here is that, hey, there's other people who are going through some of the same things, some similar things. And so, man, when we get together and we're a part of community and we can share those things and carry those burdens with one another, that it doesn't necessarily take those things away, but it can make those things easier to navigate. Like, I actually have somebody I can go to for advice and say, hey, when you went through this, maybe you're talking to one of your older leaders in your group, your high school leader in your small group, or your adult leader in your small group, and you know that they've been through some things that you are going through right now, you can ask an older, wiser person, hey, so what should I do here? Or you've got a friend in your small group, or a friend that just sits next to you in service who you can go to and say, hey, I know like we were talking about this, will you just pray for me as I'm encountering this week? And it could be anything with anxieties with people, with school. Guys, these things are normal and a part of life. And so I don't want you to ever feel like you are alone in these things. I want you to know you have a safe place to share and bring those burdens. And maybe for you that will be here at Fellowship Greenville as a part of our middle school environment. And on the flip side, you got exciting things like trying new sports and as much as going to a new school can be a little nerve-wracking, maybe it's really exciting for you. Meeting new people can be exciting. Starting new things can be exciting. And you get to celebrate those things with the people that you are with as well. And so I did enjoy middle school, and I would get nervous about school starting. I was somebody growing up, and I guess I still am. I was always somebody who
like to make people laugh, and so one of the things that I would get nervous about is like, is anybody gonna laugh at my jokes this year? Which I know sounds really silly, but that was one of the like biggest things on my mind is, hey, I know that I can make a friend anywhere as long as somebody will laugh at my really silly, quirky jokes. And so I would get nervous about that, but I genuinely enjoyed new things like starting new classes, meeting new people. That's just always kind of been my personality. And so maybe you can jive with that, maybe you can't, but here's something that I think all of us will encounter, whether your personality matches up with mine or is the complete opposite. One of the things that I think you're going to encounter this year, and one of the things you're going to for sure encounter throughout your middle school years, is you're going to be trying to figure out, who am I and where do I belong? What are you good at? What are you maybe not so good at? Where should you plug in and like use those gifts, talents, skills? Who are the people that you should start to associate who maybe have some of those same things in common? Or maybe there's a group of people you just want to get to know because, hey, they do something that I would like to be involved in. Maybe you wanted to be in band, but you weren't completely sure until you joined a group of friends who were in band, and now you've been roped in as well. But you're going to encounter all these things and opportunities to try to figure out, who are you, where do you belong, and really underneath a lot of this, it's getting to this question of, where do you find your identity? Where do you find your identity? And as much as there's some good places that you're going to get pulled into and invited into about where your identity can be found, there's also some places that are not so great. There's people who are doing things who may be the popular cool crowd, and you just want to be in with them because you can get a few more followers on Instagram, or you can be a little more well-known at school, or you could just be a part of the cool crowd. But really the things that they're doing aren't actually the things that you're supposed to be doing in the first place. There's going to be some temptations based on certain rewards or things that come with being known for something in your school or among your group of friends, that maybe actually that's not where you're supposed to be placing your identity and using your gifts and talents. Those are just things that are like directly affecting you. But then there's the world, and whether it's advertisements or things that you watch on YouTube, or that society is going to be pulling you in all these directions saying, hey, you need to be about this, or you need to be about this, or you need to be this kind of person, or you need to identify this way. And it's all getting at, hey, where do you find your identity? Who are you actually? And maybe as we think as Christians, if you're somebody who believes in Jesus in this room, hey, who are you created to be? There's actually an old kids story, and maybe you guys have read this story before, or maybe you've actually heard me read it or kind of walk through it. It's called The Mixed Up Chameleon. Have any of you ever read this book or seen this book? The Mixed Up Chameleon. Yeah, it's kind of a fun book, okay? Rest in peace to Eric Carle. He wrote a lot of really awesome kids books, and he passed away just a couple years ago. But one of them was The Mixed Up Chameleon. And so let's turn to the next page here. We're not going to read this whole thing, but just kind of a quick overview. So you've got these two chameleons, and chameleons can kind of change color to blend in with their environment. Don't correct me on all the technicals of that, okay? Because I don't know exactly how it works, but that's a pretty cool skill set, okay? If you could just like change your color. My boys, I have a 4-year-old or about to be 4-year-old and a 6-year-old now, and we were playing hide and go seek the other day, and one of the things about this particular game of hide and go seek was, but if we stand up against the wall, we're invisible, okay? So they said I couldn't see them, so of course I played along with that. But they can't actually blend in with the wall or become invisible. But chameleons, to a certain extent, really can. And so whether they're on a green leaf or that red-ish flower. I don't really know why he's orange. He's more orange than red. Can we agree with that? Or if they're on like the brown bark of a tree, they can blend in. They've got a long tongue that's great for catching flies. And at some level, the chameleon was satisfied with who he was, and then he ends up going to the zoo, which is in the next picture here, the next page. And he sees all these different animals, and he's like, oh man, there's a zebra, there's a fox with a sweet, a zebra. That's a giraffe, some would say. A giraffe with a long neck, a fox with an awesome tail. He sees all these abilities, like an elephant with a long trunk, and he's like, well, maybe the way that I'm made isn't like the best after all. I wish I could put all of these things on. And so eventually the chameleon, if you've read the story, he gets things like antlers, and he gets this bushy tail from the fox. He gets the legs of the flamingo, and he's trying all these things on from other animals, but he's realizing like, hey, I'm not satisfied right now. And so I think then he puts on a few more things in the next picture. Let's see what he puts on this time. He just adds a lot more. Yeah, now you've become a monster, chameleon. And he's got the long neck of the giraffe. He's got the entire head of the elephant. He's got a hat and an umbrella for some reason. No animals were harmed in the making of this book, okay? I can't assure you, JB. But he tried all of these things on, and maybe you're making the connections for yourself. But in the end, trying all of these things on, he still wasn't satisfied. He still wasn't content, ultimately because that's not who this chameleon was created to be. Let's turn to the next page. This little chameleon realized that he was in his happy spot. He was in his happy place when he was being exactly who he was made to be. A chameleon who had a long tongue, could catch some flies, and could change colors when he sat on a tree or sat on a leaf. You can close the book for now. Close the storybook. Here's the reality, and I know for some of you this may click now more than it did when I first kind of gave this talk. This is actually a 6 Rise talk, but we didn't get to it yesterday. Some of this may click now because you're a little bit older, and maybe for some of you hearing it the first time, it's going to be really, really invaluable. But there was a way, there is a person who created you, and that's God. God created you, and he designed you for certain things. To be human and be a reflection of him. To be male and female and reflect him in the different ways that guys and girls do. He's made you uniquely you with certain gifts. Like some of the people in here apparently have great music gifts that I do not have, and that's okay. Because he's designed you with your giftings and me with my giftings so that we might glorify him with those things. And middle school is a time where you're discovering, hey, how has God exactly wired me, and what am I good at, and what subjects am I better at or not so good at, and who are my friends, but ultimately with the purpose of, hey, how you were created and who you were created to be, it was meant to be, all those things were meant to be used in a way that would glorify God. And when you finally come to that place where you realize that that's true, that your identity is in him, that's when the most satisfying life will be lived for you. Here's some verses or actually one verse in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. Talks about our identity. It says, but you are a chosen race. This is talking specifically about Christians. You are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. In the end, when we're trying to find our identity, I think some of what we're after is like, hey, what makes me special? What makes me unique? What makes me different? What makes me stand out? What abilities do I have? But right here, God is saying, hey, if you are one of his children, you are chosen. You are uniquely his. You are a royal priesthood. You have a purpose. You're a holy nation. You're part of something that's bigger than yourself. You're part of the family of God. And why are all these things a part of you? Because you're meant to proclaim his excellencies or reflect him to the world. And when you do that, you will live the most satisfied life of all time. Jesus was a reflection of this. Jesus was one of the most confident, most satisfied people who ever lived. In fact, I would say he was the most confident, the most satisfied person who ever lived. And if you read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and you see the ways that Jesus walked around the earth and the ways that he interacted with people, he was never trying to impress anybody. He was never trying to be somebody that he was not created to be. He was not really sent here to be. He was fully satisfied in who he was as the Son of God, as God in the flesh, or kind of a fun way that we like to say this in middle school is God with a bod. Jesus was fully confident in that and lived the most incredible life that we've ever seen lived on this earth. And he's invited you and I to follow in his footsteps, find our identity in the Father, find our identity as brothers and sisters of Jesus, find our identity as people who, if you are a Christian, you have the Holy Spirit living and dwelling inside of you. Jesus called us to walk and follow in his footsteps and live a life similar to the one he did. Obviously not with sandals and the clothes that he wore all the time and all of the exact things that he did, but in a 2023 world, we're meant to be little Christs. That's one of the ways that you can translate the word Christian and be people who live a life that reflects who he is to the world. And maybe you're like, well, yeah, but I can like do that. I can be a Christian. I can do all these other things that maybe don't exactly line up with things that I see in the scripture or are things that maybe my parents aren't exactly okay with. And, you know, I think that we're all going to be tempted to do those things in some way, shape, or form. But one of the things that the chameleon found was when he finally lived into who he was supposed to be, he lived a satisfied life. And I think that one of the things that you're going to find is that when you stop trying to be somebody that you're not, when you stop trying to just pretend to be, oh, well, maybe I'll just try to do this thing, or I'll try on these clothes, or I'll try to say these words, or I'll try to fit in this group. When you finally realize, hey, no, I'm meant to be exactly who I am, that's when God can really start to do the greatest work in you. God doesn't want to, God's not trying to work on the person that you're pretending to be. Does that make sense? He wants to work on the person that you actually are, the person that he's created you to be. So once you realize that, once you find some sort of confidence and contentment in that, that's when God's going to really start to work in you and work through you. So this next year, you're going to encounter a lot of things that you're excited about, some things you're nervous about, many things that you don't even know are coming and happening. But would you maybe have this idea or this question in your mind as you go through those things? Hey, where is really my identity found? And what does it look like in this moment to find my identity in God as a child of God, one who's been chosen by him, one who's a part of his family? And what does that mean to live out as a child of God right now in this moment with my friends, with my family, in my neighborhood, on my sports teams, anywhere you find yourself? That's a question you can always be asking. Let me pray for us. Lord, I pray that you would help us reflect you well in this world. That for those of us who are Christians, that we might start to grasp a faith that is not just the faith of our parents and not just the faith of our pastors or those who have been leading us, but is truly a faith of our own. Would you help us to find our identity in you and not in just the things or ways of this world or our friends, but that we might find our identity as people who have been called and chosen by you, people who are part of your family, people who have been called to advance the kingdom. You've given us such a great purpose. That's one of the things that so many of us are after right now. So help us be fully satisfied in you and who you've created us to be. And with that, just bring many incredible tales of things that we start to see you doing in our lives and in the world around us as a result. We love you, Lord. Pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so here's how this works right now, guys. It's 10:13. Some of your parents may already be up here, okay, especially for you middle schoolers, if service has gotten out. If they're not up here, maybe you have a place that you want to meet them. That could be like downstairs at the fireplace. It could be downstairs at the bottom of the stairs, or maybe they're coming up here. Until then, you're welcome to hang out and play in the cafe, grab another donut if you want. But we love you guys, and we will see you next week.